Hi, I'm Eileen Roche, and welcome to today's episode of Between Friends. It's a new product reveal, which you know is one of my favorite things here at Dime. And I see so many of you are joining from not all over the US, but we have friends that are joining from New Zealand, Germany. There's Singrid in Germany, and someone is a couple in New Zealand and also in the Netherlands. So absolutely wonderful. Terry Shopaholic. She's got a real name, or he's got a real name, I'm sure, but that's okay. Just lovely to have people from all over joining us today. And my good friend, Dawn Chase from Creative Appliques, she's hailing it, piping in from Virginia where it's sunny. All kinds of different weather all over the country. Wherever you're watching from, please sign in. Let us know that you're joined us, because we love to know who's watching and from where you're watching from. So, many times people ask me, how do I invent the things? And I do a lot of embroidery, right? Through the years, I've done a lot of embroidery. I have a great team here at Dime for sure. So I may come up with the idea, somebody else may come up with the idea, but it then kind of goes into a pipeline of other experts, embroidery experts like Deborah Jones and my partner, Gary Gardner, Roy Garland, who bring a lot of expertise also to these inventions. And then we fine tune them and make them happen. They don't all happen overnight. So let's go ahead and take a look at how you can shop, because new product, lots of you want to jump right in and participate. So you can actually watch this right on our DZGNS website, right on the homepage there. You'll find a link, and then the shopping cart is below. But we'll get to that in a little bit. If you're on Facebook or you're on YouTube, you'll get to see the whole broadcast and also the rebroadcast. Okay, so like I said, every invention has a story. And many of you know that I have a close affiliation with Christine Connor of Amelie Scott Designs. She's the author of Edge to Edge Embroidery, Quilting with Your Embroidery Machine. And we've been working together for many years now. I use her designs, she uses our hoops. And she came up with a very interesting technique on how to advance the fabric when you are doing edge-to-edge quilting in a snap hoop monster. So let's go ahead and take a look at how she does it.
I'll show you how I do what I call the Amelie Scott slide. This keeps me from getting up and down. I just stay at my machine and I quilt. So what I do is first of all, I lift up the bottom portion of the hoop and I put my hand underneath it. It doesn't hurt because there's all these layers. And then I kind of hold the fabric in place while I slide the top portion of the hoop forward. As I'm sliding it down, I go probably to about an inch, inch and a half where the design is still seen inside the hoop. So this is about, probably an inch and a half, maybe 2 inches of my design. You will see that the hoop just kind of stays on top of the magnetic portion because this is the end of the hoop. So the next thing I do is I grab the fabric on the sides and I just pull the fabric straight back. And while I'm doing this, I'm also trying to keep my quilt a little straight. This is on the 7 back here, so I'm kind of trying to keep that on a 7, that seam. And you can hear it when it clicks into place, because it's the magnet.
So I'm just going to interrupt here, and because it was at this moment in Christine's demonstration that I thought, wow, if there was a tool that would present a line from the top of the hoop where that seam hit the 7 down to the bottom of the hoop where she wants to continue that line. And that's how I came up with this new product. So let's go ahead and switch to another video so you can watch this latest product, and then I'll delve into it deeper live here. So let's take a look.
Snap Guide is an alignment tool for Snap Hoop Monster. It allows you to align designs right under the needle. The metal tabs connect with Snap Hoop Monster's magnetic frame and stay in place while you advance and adjust the fabric. We love it for quilting, and it's quite useful in large hoops when the embroidery should align with a seam or stripe.
So that's a quick look at it, but I'm going to delve into it a little bit deeper on the overhead camera. But before I do that, I want to say hello to some folks. Here we have Laurie Albright. She's from Illinois, and she says, I'm out hanging the Christmas lights. Sorry I'm late. This woman is a dynamo. Let me tell you, she has raised some military children, both men and women. And I'm so impressed with Laurie. She works with us here at Dime, and I couldn't be happier to have her here today. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the overhead so you can see what comes in the box. First off, you're going to get new adhesive centering guides. Now, these are really different. You'll notice they don't have any numbers on them. They have symbols that are really easy to read. So we have a diamond, triangle, heart, star, flower, and a circle. And these easily identifiable symbols are in red, and they're spaced between red dotted lines and solid black lines, making it easy for you to, see what is revealed in the diamond. So the diamond opening is what's going to sit on Snap Hoop Monster, revealing the symbol underneath. And if you have the same symbol viewed in both diamonds, then you know that you are nice and square and straight in the hoop. When they come, there are going to be 4 separate tabs and the 2 rulers. And to assemble, you can see how easy they came apart. They go together just as easily. You may want to make sure that I think we call this the finger or the tongue, just is facing up, right? It's like a prong. And so we want that to be sitting up. The turned metal tab sits right on top of Snap Hoop Monster. So we'll take a look at that a little closer on the hoop. But first, let's go ahead and apply our rulers, because I know many of you already have a hoop, and you probably have the other rulers on them. And you know what? You can use Snap Guide with the existing rulers, whether you have the metric or the inches, it doesn't matter. You don't have to change your adhesive guides. So it doesn't matter to us if you use these or not, but we like them and we think they're really handy and easier to use than the numbers, because they're just, these symbols are easily recognizable. So I'm just going to go ahead and snip it here. And then I will place it on top of the existing ruler. I'm going to peel off that protective paper and then place it. Just all I have to do is line up my zeros, right? Because that was there already. I know I applied it properly the first time, and just cover the original ruler, finger press it in place, and I'm good to go. So we'll do that for all 4 rulers, and then I'm going to show you how I hoop and how I use it when I'm hooping, because it's not, you can use it under the needle, actually on the machine, right? Or you can use it while you're hooping. So either way, it has multiple uses. So there we go. I'm just lining up my zeros, finger press that, not perfectly straight. We can peel that up and get it aligned. There we go. And now the short side, same thing, nothing different. I just have to determine how much I'm going to cut off. So I'll match those zeros, and I think I'll do it right past that diamond. And just snip it the same distance on both sides. And remove that protective paper. You know, it's amazing how all the tools here at Dime have a story. Every single one has a story, and they always appear or are, you know, given birth to when we encounter a problem. Oh, I didn't cut this properly. Oh, well. Let's get those zeros lined up. And then we'll cut the other one a little shorter. That's this end. There we go. I wasn't paying attention. And we'll just snip that off. All right. And our last one, easy to apply. So I'm just going to kind of look at some of your comments while oh, you need this. Oh, it's a great tool. It is, Sarah S. Sheila, you love it. Tammy E, you love it. I love it too. I'll tell you, it is, you know, it's amazing how you can embroider for a really long time. And then when you find a new tool, you're like, oh man, how did I do without that? So let's cut this at the right place this time, right? Make sure I'm even. Isn't it fun to watch me struggle on the lives? Oh boy. Okay. So the hardest part really of this whole thing is getting the protective paper off. You just have to kind of work those corners. Now, if I was doing video, I would have had this all prepped prior, but I wanted you to see what it's like when it comes out of the bag. And of course, you're going to have to buy this for your hoop, the size hoop that you already own. So we'll get into that in a little bit, how you can tell which ones to buy. All right. My rulers are in place. Clean up all my excess, and then I'm going to bring that very same jelly roll quilt that you saw in the previous video, right? So what's the challenge of a jelly roll quilt? Well, one of the challenges is getting these seams straight in our hoop. And sometimes we, like Christine Connor did, she was aligning the 7 on her hoop at the top and the bottom of the hoop with the seam. Well, that's great. But if it's a big hoop, you could have some curvature to these seams. And I'll show you what I mean. So let me go ahead and remove my shield. And then I'm just going to place my quilt over. And this is just to kind of show you, you know, if you're beginning quilting and it's a small project, you're not doing this at the machine, how you would align. Now, and then so we'll just go ahead and place my snap hoop monster perpendicular, and I'm going to drop that down. And, you know, I can see that I'm not aligned really, not too bad, but my seam here is hitting at the between the solid and dashed line on the other side. So I'm going to take my ruler, not my ruler, but my snap guide, and I'm going to position that in the hoop because it's going to give me another alignment guide, which is really going to be handy. So what I'm doing is I'm positioning the window, the diamond window, at the same location on both the top and the bottom hoop. And then I'm looking at my seam, and I want to see if that seam is sitting right under the black dash line. We have 4 black dash lines, and we even have a yellow one that is visible on dark fabrics. So you have some options there. We have a center opening, so you can insert a pen in the center if you need to do that to mark your fabric, or, you know, skinny chalk, something like that. So we kind of tried to think of everything. So if I'm not perfectly straight, like if my seam is crooked, well, you know how we adjust fabric in a snap hoop monster, right? All we have to do is pull and tug on it, maybe reposition. But that tells me I'm nice and square in the hoop. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this and bring in another hoop that I have prepared for you that I think you'll find handy. And that's when we are using a ruler. And you know what? I was tidying up beforehand, and I put away my I put away the ruler. So let me get it out and reassemble. So if you just bear with me a moment, pretty sure it's the R. Because I'm in a 10.5 by 10.5. So let's see if it's the R. See, it just doesn't pay to be tidy. All these people who want to tidy everything up can't find a darn thing, you know? Can't find a darn thing. Okay, so let's hope this is it. Not quite, but it'll work. It's not quite it. So let's use another hoop. Let me get that other hoop out that I just used for the 9 by 14. So I'll pull that out, that we had the skinny one in, and then you can see how that works with a template, because it's really quite handy with a template. So you just have to remove this hoop. And get my fabric. I think, you know, if I was going to upgrade here in the studio, maybe I would get an assistant in here. What do you think? Somebody who can help me, hand me the right tool as they watch me remove things that I really shouldn't remove because I need them. What do we think about that? Give me a thumbs up if you think I need an assistant. Give me a thumbs up, would you? Because goodness knows, I sure could use that. Okay, so here I have an edge-to-edge template. And I'm going, because I'm in too big of a hoop right now, I'm just going to move this down and pretend that we are connecting this design. And if I was, when I use my snap guide, I would make sure that my snap guide was aligned with the crosshair on the template. And I could see that it's a little off. So I can just make this fabric, or well, I'm really off because I didn't even have my my hoops aligned. So now I'm going to take this guide and align it with the crosshair underneath. And you know what? I'm in good shape. So let me elevate this so you can get a better look at that, because I know that you probably don't get a good look. So let's go ahead and elevate that so you can get a better look. And here you can see that the dashed lines on the ruler are aligned with the crosshair underneath. And in the window, you can see that the diamond or the triangle is visible, and the same on both ends. So anyway, that's how we would do it when we are hooping. And it's quite handy for hooping, but I think the best use is when we are advancing the fabric. So let me see what kind of questions we have here. And Angela Dixon, you said you already love this new tool without seeing the rest of the demonstration. Awesome, thank you. And Retha Ranke, great to have you back here. You have been busy because we have missed you for sure. Let's see, you all got to have this tool. So how many of you think this is a great invention? I mean, I sure do. Deborah Lane, you want those for sure. Where do you see how inexpensive they are? You're going to love that. Now, you do have to get them for your hoop, for sure. So let's go ahead and take a look at advancing a quilt. I have a really pretty quilt over here on a Baby Lock Solaris in a big hoop. And now that I've moved all my rulers, let's make sure we have the right one. Okay, so I've already stitched my first edge to edge, and now I want to advance the fabric. I have a seam here and a seam here, and of course the center of my diamond. So this is an edge to edge design, so I'm not trying to decorate like the diamond itself. I'm going to place my ruler in position. And I want to make sure that one of those black lines, because this is light fabric, is aligned with the seam. And then I'm going to check the view in the diamond and make sure it is the same. And then I'll do what Christine did, right? I'm going to lift that top frame, hold on to the quilt and pull it down. I'm pulling down the top frame only. And then I'm going to grasp the quilt and pull it up. Okay. And then I want to, I'm going to do a little fine tuning, right? I want to make sure that my ruler is still aligned. It's still in the same position, but it is no longer aligned with my black line. So I can just go ahead and pull that fabric over so that it is nice and parallel, the seam with that black line. And then I'm happy and ready to stitch the design. So it's as easy as that. And of course, you'll remove it. Now let's talk about handling these snap guides. So I like to hold the snap guide by just the tabs. I don't hold it by the lightweight plastic. And we made this nice snap guide of a lightweight plastic because we just didn't want to add more weight to the product, right? They have metal tabs, you know, as you see, they snap right to that magnetic top. So it's lightweight. So just handle the snap guides by the tab. And of course, you can store them on the hoop, no problem, because, you know, they'll stick right to it. Pretty cool. Okay, let's go over to our Bernina 790 and do the same thing. So here I have a really pretty, another jelly roll quilt that you can see. And this one has vertical and horizontal seams. So you can decide which way you want to use your snap guide. I'm going to use it in the vertical fashion. If you have horizontal lines seams here, I could use the horizontal, the shorter one. They come in packs of 2 for your hoop. So you're going to have one for the horizontal width, you know, obviously, and one for the vertical length. Okay, so I'm just going to make sure that I'm aligned, right? And I'm going to check, well, how's my window? I got a solid line there and a solid line there. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to lift that frame, put my hand in, pull it down, leaving some of the original, you know, the first design in place, and then grasp the quilt and slide it up. We're just going to slide that up until it snaps and we can feel it connect. I went too far. So I can feel that connect with the bottom. I'm going to verify that it is all still in the right place and that I'm parallel with my seam. And I am. So I'm ready to stitch. I'll, of course, take it out, right? We want to take it out, hold it by the tabs and set it aside and stitch your next design. So it's that easy. Isn't it fun? Oh my gosh. And who's my friend here? Peggy Ann. She says, love my magnetic hoop. Me too. Who loves your magnetic hoop? Give us a big shout out. And let's see. Norma Bates, your 9.5 by 14 is still in the box. Get it out. Open that up and use it. Oh, that's a fabulous hoop. Actually, that 9.5 by 14 is probably my favorite size hoop because it's big. It gives me wiggle room for most of the designs, most of the quilting designs I'm doing, but it's not as big. It's not that massive open space that my 10 by 16 is, which is a great hoop too, believe me. But sometimes when you're doing repetitive hooping, when you're quilting a large quilt, sometimes it's easier to work in a 9 by 14. So anyway, yeah, let's see. Okay, so Patricia Roberts says, this is genius. She uses her acrylic ruler to align both ends, and it is awkward. And I've done that for years. In fact, I don't know if it's in my first quilt book, but my last quilt book, Quilting with an Embroidery Machine, it shows you that you most certainly can use an acrylic ruler, but you know, they don't bend, right? They don't give in the hoop. And you have to have one that, you know, hits, you know, it's the right size. Not so easy. Let's see. Okay. All right. So what other questions do we have? Oh man, let's see. Okay. So super fun. Okay. So now in order to buy it, you have to buy it for your hoop. It's not a one size fits all. They're really custom made for each snap hoop monster. So I would like to take a moment to kind of review that with you. And let me just advance over here so you can see this special, how much they are. So they come in a pack of 2, one for the width, one for the length, and they are $29.99 for a set. Is that great? I mean, I'm just tickled with that price. We tried so hard to keep the price reasonable so that everybody who owns a snap hoop monster could buy one because they're just that handy for sure. So let's go ahead and take a look at how you have to buy it. Oh, that's not what we want to do. Oh, first off, yeah. Okay, well, where you can get it is at these fine dealers. We have premium dime dealers that already have this product in their stores. So let's see if your local dealer is one of them. Okay, so those dealers already have these in stock. Now, they might not have the one for your hoop, but I would encourage you to contact your dealer and get them to order yours so that you have it in stock. So let's see, Susan Wiggins, you say the dealer chart moves too fast. I agree, it is pretty fast, but you can always rewatch the broadcast and go back to that segment and just advance to that area, then slow it down for when you hit the area that you're interested in. Okay, so let's see. Before we get started on how to buy, Jill Bray wants to know, what size would you recommend for her first snap hoop monster? Well, if you are looking to buy a snap hoop monster and because you don't have one yet, I would suggest that you analyze your embroidery activities, right? What size hoop do you always reach for in your sewing room? Like, maybe not always, but 80% of the time, is that a 5x7? Is it an 8x12? Is it the great, or a much larger hoop, like a 9x14? Whatever that size is that you use in your standard hoop, get that size in a snap hoop monster. Unless you're a quilter and all you want to do with your snap hoop monster is quilt, then get the biggest size available for your machine. And Jill, we have a compatibility chart on our website that will tell you exactly what hoops are compatible with your Stellaire. So let's get back to how do we buy? Well, right on our website, we, of course, have a page for Snap Guide. And when you are there, you'll use the drop-down window to find the Snap Guide for your hoop. Now, pay attention to it because it lists the sewing field size of your hoop. And if you remember, about a month ago, we talked all about hoop sizes and why an 8x8 design doesn't really fit in my 8x8 hoop. And I know that's confusing, but I didn't invent that. I didn't make that up. That's just a problem that exists in the embroidery world. So I can help break it down for you a little bit for sure. We made a hoop chart, and that's also on our website. And my team, I'm sure, will add links to the comments here so that you know exactly where to get it. And so as you can see in that chart, it shows you a 6x10 hoop, and that is the sewing field. So when you say, you go into your dealer, you say, I want to buy a 6x10 snap hoop monster, that's what they're going to give you. And then when you get it home and you take it out of the box and you measure the inside of the hoop, the measurement is not 6 by 10. It's a lot larger. And that's because, there needs to be some area for the foot to travel around the embroidery design and not hit the hoop. And that's on any hoop, a standard embroidery hoop or a magnetic hoop. So if you don't remember what size you actually purchased, you can use this chart to identify that hoop. Because let's go to the overhead so I can show you close up exactly how that is laid out. So here we have a 4x4 hoop. The actual sewing field is 3.94 or 100 by 100 millimeters. But the interior measurement is here in millimeters and in inches. It gives you that. So you can measure your hoop. And then once you find that measurement, you go back to this side of the chart, and that will tell you what size hoop you own. All right. That's a lot. And then you want to be able to buy the one for your machine. So let's go ahead and take a look at this slide. And this is the packaging. So on the packaging is a item number. In this case, it's the SG88200. And if you look at the compatibility list below it, that's telling you every hoop in our line that this snap guide will work on. So let's just kind of digest that for a moment, right? Because, you have to know your hoop. So Ann Philback 8x8 is go-to for you. That's your hoop. If you had an 8x8 snap hoop monster, then you would buy the SG88200. And Andrea Smith says, can we buy one set for a specific snap hoop? And then since I have multiple hoops, can we buy just the plastic rulers? Yeah, we don't sell them like that, Andrea, because we feel that people will keep them assembled and use them at all times, as a whole unit. So anyway, okay. Let's see. So let's take a look at the actual packaging so you can see what that looks like. When you go to your dealer, you're going to see it. It'll probably be hanging on a wall. And on the front, this is the front of the packaging, snap guide. And on the back is where you're going to see that compatibility up there. So go to the wall and then, flip it over depending on how they have it displayed. But that's where your compatibility is going to be to make sure you order the right one for your hoop. And, I think you're really going to find a lot of different ways on how to use these and that you'll enjoy them over and over again every time you use your hoop. So, and Tammy E., you bought 2 sets. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. And so let's see, Lisa Schwartz, she wants to know, where are these charts located? So if my team could post a link to the compatibility chart for hoops, that would be great. And then also that hoop size chart. And if you're working on your own, it's on our website. If you go down to FAQs at the bottom of the page, frequently asked questions, you click there and then click on what size is my hoop. That will present the chart for you for sure. Okay. So next week is Thanksgiving, and Ashley Jones is working on Tuesday. Right? Yep, on Tuesday. She'll be doing creating custom quilting designs part 2, and that's at 1:00 on November 21st. We will not have a Between Friends episode on Thursday. Thanksgiving Day, we'll be skipping a week, but then the following week, I'll be back. And I'll have a guest because it'll be the On the House project time for sure. So we definitely would like you to make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and like us on Facebook for sure. I'm getting lots of comments about my top. Yeah, isn't that fun? So I printed this fabric and then made the t-shirt because, I love time, right? We want to always be promoting our company, and I love knit fabric, so it's just super comfortable. Definitely comfortable to wear. So, okay, let's see. Next up is I'll be back on the 30th with Sue Brown from OML Embroidery, and we'll be going over a whole new project for on the house. So that'll be super fun. And I do hope that all of you have a great Thanksgiving. Those of you who celebrate here in the United States, Thanksgiving, it's one of my favorite holidays because it's time that you just spend with your family. There's not a lot of decorating or gift giving and so forth. It's just beautiful, precious time together and great food to be shared. So I love to cook. So that's awesome. Okay, so on the house, let's take a look at what you have been doing, because I know many of you, this is where you get the on the house designs. Here at DZG&S, go to free designs and you'll find all of the free designs for this past year for 2023. They've been there since January 1st and they will stay till December 31st. So if you haven't downloaded it, those designs, do it. Yes. And so Retha Ranke says, did you say you printed the fabric? I did. Print on demand fabric. I did. I'm not going to tell you where because that company is now out of business, but there's lots of services where you can design your own fabric and print small quantities or large quantities. And so that's what I did for sure. So, okay. So all about those designs. We hope that you are taking advantage of that. And when you do, would you please share your projects? Because we love to see what you've been doing. And it's time to see exactly what you've been doing. Let's take a look at our On the House reel. This week is this beautiful Christmas tree. This time we're kind of ramping it up and using our Kingstar metallic thread. I think you'll enjoy that. Only 3 colors that you'll need to make this beautiful Christmas design. And boy, it's just around the corner, isn't it? Thank you for all of the happy Thanksgiving wishes, and right back at you, my friend Dawn Chase. Thanks so much. And I hope that everybody has a great holiday. Thanks for joining us today. And I hope you take advantage of the special pricing on Snap Guides this week. See you at the end of November.